Here's what you missed on Phathead and Cande in the morning. Weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. on My Country 96.1.
My Country 96.1, Phathead, Cande Roth on this Wednesday, February 19th. Cande out. She'll be out all week. We do have an okay day, a little windy, a little cold like we've been seeing, but the wind will be less and the high will get up to about 30 later on this afternoon. So listen, whenever there's no precipitation, let's go. Good to go. By the way, that, last week, literally, 5 to 7 days ago, there was word that we might get a potential crazy snowstorm event tomorrow. Does not look like anything. There could be a tiny coating. There could be nothing. But it seems to have kind of gone away from the island, a different direction. I believe keeping south of us, if I'm not mistaken. But I think we're going to get away a little easy. And again, if it is something tomorrow, maybe a slight coating, an inch or something. Doesn't look like to be anything nuts like they predicted about a week ago. Reminder, this Friday, 2 days away, the big on sale for our summer extravaganza. We're going to have a few of them, but the first announcement for us Saturday, August 16th. Yes, let's go. Tyler Hubbard, Parmalee, Brandon Wisham, and DJ Deuce. Ticketmaster.com this Friday at 10 a.m. Excited about it. All right, so a couple of things to get into here. Started to briefly mention this earlier in the hour. Your ideal work week, what does it look like? Obviously, we've seen a shift even before COVID, right? We saw a shift in people's work days and what was happening and how many hours and the idea of the 9 to 5, straight up 8-hour workday for some people still exists, but was going away. Anyway, they did a poll and they asked people, what does your perfect work week look like? All right, 26%, about a quarter of the people, as you'd imagine, they say, no, I like the 5 days, 8 hours a day. It works for me, 9 to 5, let's go, typical work week. That's about 26%. 40%, and by the way, I think some places, some businesses that can do this will go to this one day soon. 40% say they want that extra day off. They are willing to work 4 10-hour days in order to get Friday off or Monday off or whatever day they're going to get off. And that makes sense. I could see people putting in 2 extra hours a day. And again, these are for your typical, where you have to work 40 hours a week. Obviously, some people's jobs are a lot different than that. But 40% say, I'll take the 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. That was the most popular answer. 15% want 2 extra days off and would be willing to work 3 13-hour days. That's a lot. That's, you don't realize how much, especially depending on the job, how much that is, 13 straight hours of work. But you would get the 2 extra days off. You'd only work 3 days a week. 13% of you said they'd like shorter shifts, so 6 hours a day. Now, not sure if that means you're working less hours or you have to work, extra days. I don't know. It doesn't really say, but some people actually want to go the other direction. 13% would like to work shorter shifts. This is nuts, all right? 2% of the people say they would like to do 2 20-hour work days and then get 5 days off. You'll be sleeping for 2 of those 5 days off. If you work 2 straight 20-hour work days, you would then be sleeping 2 of your days off. So I don't know if that works. And another 4%, this is the wild one, 4% of people would like to do 40 hours straight. Just stay up, I don't know, maybe drink some Red Bulls, 1 shift, 40 hours, and then see you in about, 5.5 days or whatever the case may be. So some wild answers there. I do believe that at some point, businesses that are not normal businesses, or I should say businesses that are more of the normal 9 to 5, will be going to 4-day work weeks. I could see that, giving Fridays off, and we'll see how it plays out. All right. things people underestimate because anybody can do them, but actually require a lot of skill. And by the way, when I say anyone can do them, that's what people think. Some people are like, oh, that's easy. Yeah, no big deal. Anyone can do that. But here's the top list of things that actually seem that way, but require a lot of skill. Number 1 on the list is driving. I absolutely agree with this. Look, I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel they are the best driver out there. I know I am a good driver, a safe driver. I feel like I need to be behind the wheel. Like everyone's in good hands if I'm behind the wheel. I used to love, when I used to go into New York City a lot, used to love driving in New York City. But really, the driving skill, being a good driver, being confident about it, everything, the parking, the maneuvering, the traffic, harder than you would anticipate, requires a lot of skill. Seems easy, but harder than you would think. Here's an interesting one to all these substitute teachers. I am with you. I feel for you. I get it. Number 2 on the list, things that, people underestimate. Oh, anyone could do that. Substitute teaching. Very difficult job to walk into a classroom of kids that, quote, are not yours, right? And you're not involved with them every day, and trying to get them to pay attention or trying to do something of substance. So my sister Amy, who is upstate New York, she is a substitute teacher. And I asked her about this, and she said it is definitely harder than it would seem. You go into a classroom, the teacher may or may not have left plans, so now you don't know if there's anything there for you to even do. If they did leave plans, sometimes it involves lots of technology or websites that not only do you have to find, but they may not have left their password. You get locked out of their computer. You can't access the material. She also said it's difficult. There's a lot of kids that go in and out of the classroom, and it's needed, obviously, for special help and things like that. So now you're a new teacher in a classroom. You don't really know the kids, and kids are going in and out of the classroom, getting their special help and things throughout the day, and it becomes a little difficult. And then there's, some teachers that you never want to substitute for because you know that they will just leave nothing and be like, good luck. She said there's someone in her school, again, upstate New York, someone in her school that just doesn't leave you a thing, just like a little note that says, good luck, have a good day. So definitely requires a lot of skill. Substitute teaching, harder than you would imagine. That is number 2 on the list. Couple of the others here. Home cooking, creating a new recipe. I mean, think about that. How many times have you said, I'm going to cook dinner, or what should we have for dinner? What do you want? There's arguments over or you're just bored about what you've been eating. Hard to create unique, new, good tasting home cooking. Making a sandwich is number 4. I guess a toddler can make one, but seriously, to make a really good sandwich, underestimated. Harder than you'd think. Starting and running a business. I don't know that anyone underestimates this, but it is number 5 on the list. I would never underestimate that. Starting your own business, running it, especially, there's different industries that are harder than others, right? The food industry, things like that. But starting and running your own business may seem simple to some people, harder than you would think. This is great. Anything that involves dealing with a random bunch of people. I guess where you have to be a leader, group some people together and get them to apply themselves to the same thing, requires a lot of skill. Not that easy. Some other things on the list that require more than you think. Dancing, absolutely. Listen, number 9 on the list is dancing. I never would think that's easy. Singing is number 10. I'd put singing higher on the list. Absolutely. I am the worst singer of all time. You've heard it on the show. Singing requires an immense amount of God-given talent and skill. I would never underestimate that. I will say number 11, public speaking. I get it. A lot of people do not like public speaking. Even me, there's certain situations that, just are not the greatest, right? And I've been doing this my whole life. Public speaking, a problem for a lot of people. Apparently, some people think it's easy, but when you get into the situation, not so much. Big shout out to Jeannie, our photographer for all our concerts. Photography, very difficult to take really, really good pictures. That is an underestimated skill. Casual sports like golf and bowling, absolutely. Tennis, not easy at all. A lot of skill, a lot of work, a lot of practice. And number 15, the final one on the list, hacky sack. For those of you who are too young to remember. Had a hacky sack, was not very good at it. So there you go. Some skills that you think, oh yeah, easy. Not so much. All right, we got plenty more to get to. You're Bald and the Beautiful up at about 8:12. National Dave's Good News Stories late 8 o'clock hour, along with a new Instagram feature we need to tell you about. Yeah, very interesting. We will get to that. We're going to have about 30, a little bit of a breeze, sunny. That's good. And yes, 30 for the high. Not 30 right now, but 30 later on for the high. Phathead and Cande, My Country, 96.1.
Phathead and Cande in the morning, weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. on My Country 96.1.